last session, talking
Yeah.
about influencers. How do we transform followers into holiday shoppers? So it's no surprise that influencer marketing, word of mouth marketing, really does drive consumer purchase decisions. They're looking for that authenticity, they're looking for that social proof. So, talk to me about how brands can leverage that to complement their holiday campaign initiatives.
Yeah, absolutely. So the influencer marketing industry, I'm sure we've all read about the rapid growth over the past few years, and it's definitely not slowing down. So 58% of consumers say that social media influences their holiday season buying decisions. So we already know that consumers are looking to these social platforms when they're thinking about products that they want to purchase, looking for product reviews, etc. And also 63% of Gen Z are more likely to trust a brand if an online content creator they trust reviewed a brand's product. So I think that statistic is so powerful because consumers aren't only navigating to social media for product reviews or inspiration, but they're navigating to specific influential figures throughout their community to understand what a product's actual reviews are, and what they want to purchase this holiday season. But like you mentioned, Monica, it's all about making sure that these campaigns complement each other. So if we know that we're running a holiday promotion and we have 40% off the website, for example, then maybe our influencer campaigns are highlighting some of the best-selling products. And we continue to leverage these insights to refine our campaigns. So if we see that a few products are performing really well within our influencer marketing campaigns, we can pivot our paid strategy to make sure that we're including this within our media plan moving forward. So really being able to build off of each other and feed off of each other, rather than thinking about these as two independent strategies, it's really one marketing strategy that works together.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head in terms of making sure they are cohesive so that it doesn't feel off brand, right? Because consumers are really good at sniffing out inauthenticity. So, KG, let's get a little bit more specific. Let's talk about holiday campaigns that really resonate with consumers.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're thinking about the timeline, we have a few months left in 2023, so we can really go for these higher lift, longer lead time campaigns when we have that time in the planning process. So thinking about examples such as giveaways, the example on the left here, this is a chocolate brand that teamed up with an appliance brand, and they had the hashtag Say It With Gold. So it's almost like every time you're gifting this product, it's a little bit of indulgence or luxury, but they're even taking a step further and they're able to build engagement within the comments because they have a giveaway attached to this partnership. And then on the right here, Elf Cosmetics was able to tap into the excitement and the anticipation around the holidays. They had this countdown calendar with a product in each day. So not only are they able to leverage this idea of playing off of festivity and countdowns and anticipation, but they're also able to work with influencers for these unboxing videos where they showcase the products. And then finally, influencer takeovers are a great way to really leverage these long-standing influencer partnerships where they almost become an extension of your brand. So they're taking over your social media. It feels like less of a one-off partnership, but more as this is a person who is representing the brand and really stands behind the product.
So these all sound great, especially trying to partner two brands together to do almost like a co-branded giveaway. However, I imagine these do take some pre-planning involved, and as you had mentioned, are a higher lift. Are there any like lower lift or quick win influencer campaigns that might not take as much time to plan out that brands can leverage?
Yeah, absolutely. So recognizing that not every brand has the time for one reason or another to plan out these takeovers or influencer giveaways, for example, there are still opportunities to incorporate influencer into your strategy. It's truly never too late to activate influencer marketing. But one really powerful way as we lead into the holidays is with gift guides. So a lot of times leading up to the holidays, influencers will post certain guides such as products to buy for the athlete in your life or the chef in your life. And this is where consumers are turning to for inspiration on what to purchase for their loved ones. And this is a great way to partner with these influencers to add your product to that list of recommended products that is going to reach that target audience. In addition, leaning into these mini moments of excitement and festivity. This video on the left here, this was from Fabletics. They leaned into this holiday-inspired workout class, but really keeping the product front and center. And then finally, we talked about hashtag campaigns a bit before, but these are a really powerful tool to not only create a common theme around your influencer partnerships, but also really generate more engagement with your followers. So really encourage them to add into the campaign and feel like they're really part of this larger community. So there are definitely opportunities at any stage of the process for brands to really get involved with influencer marketing.
Yeah, that definitely feels like more doable, especially now since we're under crunch time. But Catherine, talk to me about how once a brand works with influencers, how they can really maximize that content. You know, are there ways that um, user-generated content can be then repurposed so that it goes further in terms of application?
Yeah, absolutely. So, really thinking about influencer marketing outside of these one-off campaigns, but thinking about how we can maximize the lifeline. So on the next slide here, we see a showcase of different ways that we can maximize this user-generated content, whether that's influencer whitelisting. So that is essentially putting paid spend behind this organic post. So as you're scrolling through your feed, it looks like a post from that influencer, but then it's really driving to the brand page or the brand product. And then on the right here, social proof. So I talked about this a little bit in the session before, but really just utilizing these reviews or these testimonials from the influencers to create this more authentic and organic engagement with the advertisement. So whether that's utilizing a quote with an image, like in the examples here, or even using some of these videos and adding brand logo, CTAs, messaging. But it's really a much lighter lift on the creative side. And you're able to create these assets that feel a bit more authentic without starting from a net new campaign. So definitely when we're thinking about influencer campaigns, we're thinking outside of just that initial post, but how can we extend the lifeline of this kind of content?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Okay, we've talked about some applications, both from a high lift and a low lift. What does it take to actually kick off an influencer marketing campaign? What does that timing look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're thinking about how to kick off a campaign, the first step is really what do we want to get out of the campaign and what does our timeline look like? We talked about low lift versus high lift a bit earlier, but that really starts with the size of the following for the influencers we're activating. So nano and micro influencers, those are influencers under 100,000 followers, and it's generally a quicker timeline to activate. So they can be activated within just 1 or 2 weeks from that initial outreach. They typically have more engaged followings as well, but you're going to reach less people than some of these larger influencers. But there is more flexibility with the content usage. So if a primary goal of this campaign is to get content that you can continue to utilize across paid and organic campaigns, these are a great option because oftentimes we can purchase the content rights in perpetuity where the brand then owns that content to utilize across future campaigns. Versus when we're thinking about these larger influencers, there is a bit more lead time when we're thinking about that initial outreach to the final content posting. And there's generally less flexibility with that content usage. So sometimes it might be organic only rights or just a month or two of rights. And really the primary impact is that initial impact from reaching the hundreds of thousands or millions of followers that influencer might have. So the first step really is thinking about what do you want to get out of this campaign and then deciphering what types of influencers can we work with.
Yeah, I imagine it is a case by case basis, depending on the brand or the product that you're trying to promote.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Let's talk about attribution. I know that we get this question all the time. The expectation is that when you're working with influencers, the one thing that you're measuring is revenue, right? Return on investment. Talk to me about how you measure success across influencer campaigns, both from an ROI perspective, but maybe other metrics that you should keep in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question, and I'm sure top of mind for most brands who are thinking about how they can integrate influencer marketing. There are two ways that we like to measure success with our influencer campaigns. So the primary metrics, which are things that we probably discussed throughout this presentation, that would be how many people are actually engaging with the post, how many people saw the post. If we have promo codes, so some influencer partnerships, they might have a code for a certain percentage off using a unique code for that influencer. How many people actually redeemed that and the revenue that was generated from that? But we also like to take a step back and look holistically about how this campaign impacted our overall marketing objectives. So this is what we call the secondary metrics. Do we see an increase in branded search volume? Do we see an increase in website traffic? A lot of times when a user sees a post, they might not take immediate action, but 1, 2, 3 weeks down the line, they see their friend has the same product or they see an ad for the product. So we want to understand how influencer marketing and those initial posts are impacting the overall marketing objectives at a first, second, third touch point. And then finally thinking about our actual audience. So did we see audience growth across our platforms? Do we have new names and emails added to our database? But really lead generation and how did this grow our following? But there are definitely plenty of ways to measure attribution and measure these influencer marketing campaigns. We want to make sure that we're looking at it holistically rather than just the short-term immediate impact.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Especially because you get access to that content, so making sure that you are continuing to repurpose it, even after maybe holiday season passes. So it's pretty clear that leveraging influencers can play a significant role for brands during the holiday season. So just to wrap it up in terms of some takeaways to leave you with. Um, First and foremost, making sure that you are picking the right influencers that not only align with your brand, but are also going to resonate with whatever type of product or service you're pushing and really bring home Q4 goals, but overall 2023. Making sure that you are working with influencers based on your turnaround times, and the type of resources that you have available. Identifying what success looks like, right? Making sure that you have measurement in place to fully attribute whether or not your influencer campaigns are successful. And then really taking a step back and looking at influencer marketing as not only something that you turn on and turn off during key moments, but really how you can leverage it as an always on evergreen strategy. As KG mentioned, about 84% of brands are looking at influencer marketing as an always on strategy. So that about wraps us up. Thank you, Catherine, for talking to us about influencer. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email them to us at marketing@directagents.com. Thank you all for your time. Have a good one and good luck this Q4.